Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Happy South by Southwest. My name is Tiffany, and I'm the head of music at WeTransfer. And before WeTransfer, I was working in music management for about a decade. I was at Red Light Management, doing digital, working with clients like Steve Angelo from Swedish House Mafia and his record label Size, and then Lionel Richie and Giorgio Moroder. After Red Light, I moved over to 360 Rock Nation, where I also did digital, working with clients like Calvin Harris, Deadmau5, and Frank Ocean. And I came over to WeTransfer at the end of 2017 and was really lucky enough to work on various teams, launch our very first ad campaign, and then, of course, learning all the different products and getting to know the ethos of the company. So WeTransfer was founded in 2009 as the simplest way to share files and send big files around the world here. It was made by creatives and for creatives. So one of our founders was working at a creative agency and needing a way to send big files online because it's 2009. So, he's probably lugging hard drives around and then needing to send hard drives by snail mail. That sucks. So, and then the other founder ran this website blog that featured artists that he admired. And the both of them kind of put these two things together and created WeTransfer. So we still feature artist work that we admire, and in addition to that, really beautiful ads. Here's a really beautiful ad. This was for Calvin Klein. It's actually interactive. I believe it's live now, and it was done by PG Lang. Now, PG Lang is a service company for creators. It's founded by Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free, and their goal is actually to build stories that are engaging. And so this wallpaper is exactly that. So there's kind of different stories on the bottom that you can scroll through. And now we've evolved. We're a product suite of tools, and we've kept everything simple to make sure you have more room for ideas and more time for creating. We've Collect, a place for saving and sharing inspiration. So think of it as a personal Pinterest. And then we have Paper, where you can sketch, paint, or draw your ideas. And we have Paste, a collaborative presentation tool. We have 70 million users in 195 countries, sending over 1.5 billion files every month, which is really impressive considering Spotify is not even available in 195 countries yet. Now, as head of music at WeTransfer, I curate music stories on WePresent. So with WeTransfer.com, 30% of all of our background inventory is donated to creative projects we love. So these beautiful backgrounds featuring artists tell a deeper story about creativity, and they live on WePresent, our editorial platform. Now with WePresent, diversity is at the center of what we do. We want to showcase the best in art, photography, music, film, and more. And we aim to tell stories across different communities, whether that's age, race, geography, gender, or sexuality. Simply put, the more voices we have, the better ideas. So to date, we've worked with over 1,000 creatives from over 100 countries around the world. And specifically in music, we've collaborated with FKA Twigs, John Legend, Solange Knowles, Bjork, and Riz Ahmed, just to name a few. And we work with artists to give their ideas a platform. And we work with them to collaborate, making their vision and project come to life. We have 4 million monthly readers with an average time on site of 4 minutes, which is really impressive. Just sheer internet attention is pretty rare these days. So this is our WePresent page featuring our latest work with Riz Ahmed. and it was about his film, The Long Goodbye, which is creeping up there with winning many awards. So today I'm actually going to talk to you about how artists have used WeTransfer in creative ways and hopefully inspire you or give you more concrete ideas on how you can utilize WeTransfer to engage your audience. So this all started actually with Prince. In 2013, Prince gave away an album via WeTransfer. He did this, he shared the WeTransfer link via his mysterious Third Eye Girl Twitter account. And none of the staff actually knew about it. He didn't do it with WeTransfer per se. But it definitely rang a bell, and it sparked that like WeTransfer is actually used by musicians, and we wanted to make sure that musicians are also supported. In addition to the wonderful designers and illustrators and photographers that we were already featuring on WeTransfer.com. And then soon after, he did it again. This time he was releasing musician Judith Hill's debut album, Back in Time. And the album was actually recorded at Paisley Park with Prince as a co-producer. So in 2018, it was only suiting the Prince estate reached out to us to premiere never-before-seen 1984 rehearsal footage of Prince and the Revolution practicing their choreography to the song Nothing Compares to You, and shot in the legendary Eden Prairie Warehouse during the same summer as, I'm pretty sure the same summer as the track was originally recorded. So it's pretty funny how Prince has been the spark of WeTransfer's involvement in music, and that first touch actually had nothing to do with us. It had everything to do with you, with the artist. So as I'm walking you through these other artist examples, I want to point out that these artists have used WeTransfer in ways where it actually fits the brand's core and represents our values as a company. Our first value is creativity. Whether, that's all around creativity, whether you want to engage with your fans or creatives or your community. Last year in April, so this is at the beginning of our, quarantine, Grimes was doing a really unique project. She created an art kit. She shot 5 green screen videos for the song You'll Miss Me When I'm Not Around. And she gave it out to her fans. And in addition to that video, she also included stems to her song. And everything kind of came in one zipped up package. And it was interesting because there was no time limit. There was no exact outlet that she called for. She just wanted everyone to have fun creating something and experiment. And what was awesome about this is that she suggested other technologies to use that were pretty accessible. And the way that we looked at it was cool. Like, technology is supposed to be collaborative. And some of the tools that she suggested using was Blender, which is actually a free online tool. And it's typically used for compositing and tracking. Of course, Adobe Suite. And then she actually revealed that she used DAWS 3 and suggested using DAWS 3. She revealed that DAWS 3 was actually the program she used to create Warnymph. And Warnymph was her digital persona. If you have time, check out Warnymph on Instagram. It's really interesting work. And then, of course, she suggested Native Instrument Sounds, which provide samples and loops. And it's really unique because this is an artist that's allowing you to experiment with her own artwork. What I've heard Grimes say is that creation allows for freedom, experimentation, and mental health preservation. And so it's really unique to kind of hear DAWS 3 created her digital persona, Warnymph, and then how she's used Blender because it's free and pretty easy to use. Another artist that did an all call for video treatments for his song Without You was Perfume Genius. And what was really beautiful about this project, I think at the time he hadn't released the song, but he did this call for video treatments, and all he had was a statement and then the lyrics to Without You. So I'm going to read this statement. Without you is a tiny moment of grace, sustaining you through hard times. I looked in the mirror, which is usually such a jumble, and for a second, I understood and liked what I saw. I didn't know that feeling was available to me. It left quickly, but it was enough just knowing it's in there somewhere hiding and waiting for me to figure all this out. I'm going to go back. And that was kind of it. And again, there's no limit on how creators or fans wanted to send the video treatment. You could go for a mood board. You could go for a full-on presentation. Hey, you could write a letter, or you could submit audio of how you see this music video panning out. And the top one there, we supported this project because it was very unique. And so that was the WeTransfer wallpaper that ran on WeTransfer.com. And then the bottom one was his WeTransfer Pro account, where you could submit your video treatments, your music video treatments. He then I remember he set a date, and he actually chose 3 different treatments, giving each of the creators $1,000. And then he gave $1,000 to a charity of their choice. So I thought this was really kind because the statement was kind of relatable to what was going on, which is this new normal of creating and working from home. So, these are 2 artists that really celebrated the creativity of the community and their fans, and allowed them to be part of the process, kind of laying it out there and letting you guys create what you thought was meaningful or what you thought was cool. Now, of course, a lot of people use WeTransfer for the freedom of it. It comes with, control. You can control what you share and when you share it. Smino, I actually didn't really see this project until it was launched. I noticed that Smino used smetransfer.com instead of WeTransfer.com, but WeTransfer was embedded inside of his website. And what I noticed is that he put out this note, and it was kind of addressing the state of the world, and then he said, okay, I want to get actual free music out. So no politics, unmastered. And it was music that he had fun creating. And so he did exactly that on his website. I think the album was called She Already Decided, and he got it out via WeTransfer link. And you can kind of see there that he had his own pro account, created his own background, and it was pretty quick. Throwing it back here, before I worked at WeTransfer, I actually worked with WeTransfer on the client deadmau5. And this is how this project kind of spurred was Joel, deadmau5, was looking through all of his old hard drives, just kind of listening to what he created in the past. And he made this collection of songs that he wanted to get out. And to us, music management, we're like, oh, this is an album. And he kept on reiterating, no, this is a mixtape. This is a mixtape. And it was cool because, it's something that didn't call for this official album cycle. It didn't need, proper promotion. It was older work that he finished, or maybe some of it was unfinished, and he just wanted to get it out there and then move on from it. And so that's exactly what we did. We released it by WeTransfer, and, I think it was pretty new at the time, but it was fun to be part of this beta, was that you could play the music on the wallpaper, so you could see the files and then also play the music. And with so much of the industry news, there's definitely an imbalance of what labels control versus artists. Now, these two artists took control themselves, and they got what they wanted out there. So there's no A&R inserting people in, inserting, their critique. And then there's also no, hey, can you create a radio edit of this? Or, hey, can you shorten this for pitching to playlists? This is something that they wanted to get out. Some of the songs were long, short, unmastered, unmixed, whatever they wanted to get it out and move forward. Of course, WeTransfer is a very simple product. And you can use it to share a moment in time. Oasis was celebrating the 25th anniversary of What's the Story, Morning Glory. And it featured the single Champagne Supernova, if you guys don't remember. And this album spent 10 weeks at #1 and sold 22 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of the 90s. And 22 million doesn't sound that impressive today, but it is incredibly impressive because these were physicals. So these were CDs and vinyl. And now celebrating their 25th, we were still in quarantine, and they wanted to get out a couple pieces of work that wasn't all just music or just photos. They featured in the download, they gave away a never-before-heard version of Wonderwall, and then different creatives that could be used as a Zoom background, screensaver, or if you have WeTransfer Pro, as a WeTransfer Pro background. So it's great, they didn't have to think too far in advance, or they didn't have to direct people to a certain site because they're giving away a photo, or direct someone else to another site because they're giving away audio. They kind of packaged it all up and made one download. It didn't need to be complicated, and it wasn't. They gave it away as part of their campaign. So, of course, WeTransfer as a company, we're very much people first. We're letting artists leverage our platform uninterrupted. And we're actually one of the rare sites, maybe the only site, that literally give away the entire website. And it's going to an advertiser, artist, or causes, but we literally give away our entire website, and that space is yours. One of the things that was quite moving last year, of course, was the Black Lives Matter movement. I was sent this song from from Ruth B., a Canadian songwriter and singer, and this moment in time was, I think everyone was going through various emotions and, wanting to get involved. And this was such a creative way because she was pregnant and she wrote a beautiful song to her unborn child. And I'm going to read some of her lyrics that were part of it. If I have a son, I'll teach him to be brave. And if I have a girl, I'll teach her to be strong. And her music video was just the song, and then it was compiled moments from the movement. So it was pretty important to make sure she had the platform uninterrupted. So you'll see here, the top is the play button. So it was a WeTransfer wallpaper that we used on WeTransfer.com. And it gave a little bit of context about who she is, the song that she wrote, and then a donation button a donation button for a charity of her choice. Now, when you click play, the download box just simply moves to the left, and the screen kind of clears the way for this music video to play, or mainly so that you could see these moments in history uninterrupted, no ads popping down. I think it's such an important thing because this type of message needs to break through. Reading a lot of the news these days, just various media sites, sometimes you're reading something really important and meaningful to you, and you see an ad or like a pop-up of something that has nothing to do with what you're reading or what you care about. So we gave this platform for Ruth B. and for her song to live. Now, with We Present, diversity is at our core, so we want to exemplify lesser-known countries and communities. One of the bands that we featured last year on We Present was Mongtong. In 2019, I actually traveled through Taiwan, and it's such an amazing city. It's got a lot of different influences and just so much culture. It's very open, especially being, in Asia, close to China, etc. And so we found this band Mongtong, which is a psych rock band. And if you look them up on Instagram, they're really interested into 80s occult book covers. And it's influenced their creative. So you can kind of check them out on Bandcamp, and you can see some of the book cover influences are their album covers. And then in addition to that, they had mentioned like hanging out at antique shops, and it just painted this picture of this life, this subculture in Taipei, Taiwan. And we wanted to get to know it. We wanted to be able to show it and hopefully provide some inspiration to other artists reading it. But I love psych rock, and it's really rare to see it coming out of Asia. And it was just refreshing that it wasn't K-pop. Another band that we featured last year was Molchat Doma, and what was very cool about them was they're post-punk synth band out of Minsk, and one of their songs actually went viral on TikTok. And that song included lyrics that were, the band was quoting Russian poetry. So, of course, I was drawn to it. The music's amazing. And during that time, I actually had, new order tickets at the Hollywood Bowl, which was obviously canceled. So I was kind of in this new wave phase anyways. So listening to Molchat Doma and then getting the story behind what goes into their lyrics, what it's like in their community, and for them to create music showing like the social status of what's going on where they live. And then having this this moment of, did you know that your song went viral on TikTok? And also it was just interesting to get to know this, like, again, Russian poetry in a post-punk synth song, making it in front of the eyes of teens on TikTok. But we were very into the story. And the point is, your story matters. As artists, you guys are very special people. You artists and are quite possibly the very few people that can really leverage emotion, and you have something that's really scarce, which is your talent. And as I look for projects, my team at We Present, we look for how you create your creative process and what influences you and your background. Because at the end of the day, it's inspiring our other WeTransfer users, which are also mainly creatives. We have probably majority of the people that use WeTransfer are creatives, consider them creatives, or work within the creative industry. So make sure you guys check out We Present, check out all the other verticals, all the stories from all the other verticals that we represent. So bringing this all together here, again, WeTransfer's core values. We celebrate creativity. We also give the artists the freedom to take control. And our product is very simple because we want to make it easy for you guys to share your ideas. And we hope you give more time to actually creating. So we don't need to add all these different features, making our product more complicated. And then, of course, we're people first. We exist so that artists can get their ideas out into the world. So thank you guys for listening, and I really hope we work together in the future. And if you like this presentation, I used Paste, but don't be afraid to reach out. My information's right on this slide. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.